an Atlanta cop has been fired, and one other has been placed on administrative leave after one of them shot Rayshard Brooks in the back twice as he was running away from them. The cop, identified as Garrett Rolfe, has been fired, as I mentioned, and then Devin Brosnan, who was the other cop on the scene, he was called later. He's also been placed on multiple. Atlanta Police Department Chief Erica Shields has resigned in response to this controversy. So let me give you the background before we go to the video. And I do want to note that the video is graphic. I want to give you ample warning before we go to it. So this all started when Brooks was in his car, allegedly asleep, at the drive-through line of a Wendy's restaurant. So at that point, someone calls the cops on him to report him. At that point, the Atlanta cop shows up and knocks on his window to see what's going on and is very compliant with the police officer. He's checked for weapons. They pat him down. He's checked for weapons. He doesn't have any weapons on him. At that point, he's asked to do a field sobriety test, which he complies with. He does it. And then at that point, he's asked to do a breathalyzer test. He does the breathalyzer test and he fails. At that point, Brooks asks the officer if he can lock up his car up under their supervision and walk to his sister's house, which he says is a short distance away. I can go home, he says to the cops. Now, unfortunately, they didn't allow him to do that, and things quickly escalated. Two officers have been at the scene for more than 27 minutes at this point. When the breath test is complete, Officer Rolfe tells Mr. Brooks he, quote, has had too much to drink to be driving, and begins to handcuff him. Less than a minute later, Brooks is shot. So here is one of many videos that are available online that show what happened, how things transpired. But I want to emphasize that Brooks was running away when the officer fired 3 shots, 2 of which hit him in the back. Again, this video is graphic. It's difficult to watch. So there's your warning. Let's watch.
Yo. Yo. What's up, my man? Hey. What's my man? Now.
All right.
All right. Don't go back to sleep. Just pull over there.
I got you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I said, how much have you been drinking?
Just a couple. That's one. I had 1.5. That was it.
So, is it a couple, or is it 1, or is it 1.5? I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands behind your back for me. Here, put your hands behind your back. Hey, stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting!
So he did manage to grab Officer Brosnan's taser. Of course, he was running away. And in that video, you can see him trying to fire the taser at the cops, but it appears that he missed. At that point, the other cop, takes his taser, puts it in his other hand, and then grabs for his gun in his holster and shoots 3 times. Again, 2 of those gunshots hit him in the back and later killed him.
So first off, this is not a shooting that is like some of the others that we have seen. In some of the shootings and deaths we've seen, there was just absolutely no reason for it. Pulling up to Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old in a park in Cleveland area, and shooting within 2 seconds. You didn't even find out what was happening. In this case, they did know what was happening, and the beginning went perfectly fine. So it was a good interaction between the police and Brooks. Do they have to go to the drive-through when somebody falls asleep there? Yes, they do. Somebody's got to call. The cops have to show up. Should they do a field sobriety test? Under those circumstances, yes, I would say they should. Did he pass it? He did not. Okay. Was Brooks wrong to try to run away? I think he was. Was he wrong to grab at the taser? I think he was. Okay. Now, having said all that, that is where most of the police will then say, I mean, the guy's got one of our tasers. He's firing back at us. I imagine, and we'll probably see those stories starting to come out soon, that a lot of the cops, including in Atlanta and other places, will be flabbergasted that this police officer has been fired. Like, the guy's got a weapon. He's firing it at us. Everything you ever taught us is to kill him. And I actually don't think that that's wrong, okay? I think what they were taught is terribly wrong. But I don't think it's wrong that they were taught that. So my guess is that every cop in the country is now outraged that they can't kill a guy in that scenario. And the reality is, you can't. You don't. The guy is running away. He's firing the taser, like, basically into the air, but I don't even care if he's firing it at you. Now, it's not that I don't care. He's in the wrong. But you already have his ID. You already have his license plate. You could easily go get him later. Mm-hmm. So as he's running away from it, the only reason to shoot is if you think you're about to die or someone else is about to die. And the reality is that is not what we teach the cops. That we theoretically tell them that, and then we tell them, better to be judged by 12 than to be carried out by 6. Shoot, 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 right? And they do. So, but I'm thrilled that he was fired because now cops are going to think twice before shooting and killing someone. Good. I want them to think twice. I want them to think 3 times before they needlessly kill someone.
You're right. I think your analysis is completely right. I think that, first off, I don't think anyone is trying to pretend as if Brooks did absolutely nothing wrong. The real question here is, do cops have the right to decide whether someone gets to live or die, based on their I mean, if that person, if the suspect does not pose an imminent threat to their lives. And in this case, Brooks is running away. And some people might say, well, he got the taser. Well, what are they supposed to do? Just let him go? No, there is protocol, supposedly, that cops are supposed to follow in situations like this, where it's abundantly clear that the person is not armed with a lethal weapon. Remember, they did a search to make sure he didn't have a gun or anything like that when things were going okay, right? He was complying. There weren't any issues. And so there was a great interview, actually, by a retired LAPD Sergeant, Cheryl Dorsey. She was speaking to CNN about the culture of policing, but more importantly, what should have been done in this case. Because just running away, especially after you failed a field sobriety test, you're in your car, that's not okay. No one's saying like, oh, just let him go. But what are you supposed to do as a cop in order to both avoid killing him and ensuring that justice is served and no one else gets hurt? So here's the interview. Again, this is retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey.
What I see are poor tactics used by these officers. They clearly did not anticipate that Mr. Brooks might run away. You should always anticipate that a suspect is going to try to get away. When you try to put handcuffs on him, it's inherent to what we do. And so what the officers should have done was, as he ran away, they should have set up a perimeter. They should have got on the radio, requested additional units, direct them into the area, provide a description of the suspect, a direction of travel, and then try to contain him within that perimeter. You don't get to shoot someone in the back because they take your taser and because they run. I said from the beginning, this was punishment. And now we know, in the officer's own words, we hear one of them say, he took my effing taser twice. And so this was about catching him, punishing him. And when they got close enough to do just that, one of the officers murdered Mr. Brooks and even said in a victory lap, got him.
Yeah, even before I saw that interview, Anna, as soon as I saw the whole interaction and read all the details, I thought they could not go back to the precinct with that guy having gotten their taser. And here's another part of the culture that's wrong. I guarantee you every other cop would have made fun of them, belittled them, ridiculed them. Somebody took your taser and you didn't murder him? Ha, 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 ha. Guaranteed. And so don't tell me there's nothing wrong with the culture of policing. Don't tell me it's just bad apples. And so that was definitely a component to it. And then, of course, there's the issue that we've seen hundreds of times, which is after they shoot him, do they attend to him right away to make sure that he doesn't die? No. In this case, it was over 2 minutes before they started doing CPR. Again, that's better than the other stories we've seen where they just let the person bleed out and never, ever attend to them. Maybe they've seen some videos of cops getting in trouble for letting somebody bleed out for 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes. But either way, they seem to, as in the beginning, as usual, more concerned about their career than tending to a guy who is bleeding to death on the ground. While, by the way, witnesses were saying, he's still breathing. He's still breathing. Obviously, please get him some help.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.